I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First things first,
Commissioner, sorry,
sorry, what?
I'm just double checking because. Okay,
First things first, before we do the public comment. Couple things I wanna do. Any comments have to be about our topic of tonight, can't be about other things. Just be on topic. The other thing is, I want to thank you, Ken, for your letting us know about the letter in reference to the bypass and them trying to stall that. That'd be devastating to our community. So we've added that to the agenda because of that. I want to thank you for bringing that to our attention. All right, any public comment? I'd be disappointed if you didn't.
Thank you, commissioners. Ken Van Buster from Belfair. I'd still like to meet with you individually if you would before you finalize the comprehensive plan down at Sweetwater to show you some of the concerns. I wanted to talk about a couple things on the agenda. The request for additional funding that's dated January 26th. And you discussed at the last regular meeting. The shortfall is $106,000. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was the one we discussed.
Is there, that's a loan, is there interest on it? I mean, you don't have to answer me. These are some things I think you should talk about in public. And I'm curious if the taxpayers are on the hook for any of this, from the taxpayers from Belfair are on the hook for any of it. The second item was the payment of the Calvert invoice. This too is dated 1/19/2026. And I wasn't sure why that wasn't included in the last regular meeting. Perhaps you should table both of those until the next regular meeting. And again, I assume that this affects just the water fund and customers of the water district. Discussion and selection of the MTA applicant. I thought all three of you probably got an application. I know they sent applications out to every body in the county for it, and it's an individual's decision, not necessarily the board's decision. And I'm curious, when Mr. Sheridan was on the board, did the port pay meeting stipends for him? I don't know if that's the sort of thing that the port pays for, or the MTA pays for. But it is a cost. Thank you for the thing about the action request for the freight corridor letter. I think it would be devastating to our community and the port to cut that off. I know I get caught in traffic jam every night, and it's just tearing our community apart. So I'll be happy to see it go forward. In addition, the Board of County Commissioners approved the memorandum of agreement with the Bremerton sewer business, and I urge you folks to rescind the position statement that you took last summer on that issue. I have quite a bit to say about time. I have quite a bit to say about the comp plan, and since it's in draft form, I hope you let me comment when you talk about the comp plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Right, anybody else have any comments?
Yes, commissioners, Just wanted to follow up with you.
I can't hear, Joe.
Mr. Cedarland, we cannot hear you.
You can hear me? Okay,
Try again, Mr. Cedarland?
okay, you there?
Yeah,
Yes.
now we can
Okay.
hear you.
Yeah, I just wanted to follow up, my last public comment. I, mentioned to the port that we were in the process of pursuing another, legal action against the Port of Allen. We had applied for a water line extension permit on 10 lots on block 56.
This
And,
is only, it has to be about our, what we're talking about today. This is a special meeting. So unless it is.
This is a public comment. I can make whatever public comment I want,
No, you can't.
okay?
Not at a special meeting.
So we're talking about the port taking out a loan today because the port needs money because they're wasting too much of the taxpayers' money. And they're wasting a lot of it on legal fees because, and things are being mismanaged.
That has nothing to do with,
And so, yes, this public comment has to do with the port spending too much money. And it's not the port's money, it's the people's money, it's the taxpayers. Taxpayer dollars are being wasted by the Port of Allen. The commissioners need to understand you were elected by the taxpayers. Treadwell may have only got 2,600 votes.
what we're talking about in a special meeting. You're done. But you want to talk about what our
That,
subject.
you're gonna cut me out, no public comment? Are you gonna violate
This
the
is a special
Open Public
meeting.
Meeting Act now? Is that gonna be another lawsuit?
Discussion, we have action request on the freight corridor, we have discussion and selection on the Mason Transit Authority Board applicants. We have a voucher to approve, possibly, and an action request to the commission for the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund additional funding request. It is a special meeting, not a regular meeting. Do you have any comment on those topics?
So, the transit? What is the port's gonna be going through that tonight? And this is just about the Bremerton sewer line extension? The port didn't vote it against?
Those are not topics.
That is not on the topic tonight.
All right, I have no further comment.
Thank you, Ms. Shield.
Does anybody else have any comments? All right. We have an action request for the additional funding. Are there any comments? Any questions about it?
I could provide a little bit of insight, and had requested if we had talked about it, we have touched on it in the last meeting, but I did not have an official action request for it. And in order to fully finish processing the request, we do have to have a motion by the commission. Should the commission choose to go after additional funding. Now, this is loan funding, it is not grant funding, it is something we do have to pay back. But the original amount that was asked for back in 2022, late 2022, did not account for a lot of factors. And it just isn't enough money to complete the project. So it either comes as we will borrow more money to finish it, or we will have to pay out of our water fund additional funds. So this is just a request. They haven't approved it yet, but I do need the commission's motion
Well,
to go forward with requesting the additional funding and having it.
it's like most things, 4 years later, the price of everything goes up. So
Inflation is the hardest thing that we will experience in this job.
Well, I've been fully briefed on it, so I'd like to move to approve the request to the WSD Health and Drinking, Washington State Department of Health Drinking Water State Revolving Fund Loan Program for additional funding to cover the shortfall for the construction budget of the loan agreement, which was in 2023-4428.
do I hear a second?
I asked what the amount of the shortfall is.
Oh, what was it?
$125,038.
No,
that's the total amount.
That's the original amount.
Okay,
Um,
50?
It's 106,000.
Oh, yeah, okay, I'm sorry. You can see that
Beyond
here.
our construction budget.
There it is.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Second,
All those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Alright, I agree, so passes,
Okay. So move then.
so it moves. Alright. Okay, the next thing on our list is the payment. For the covert technical services invoice from water fund. For the equipment upgrade water fund voucher. Number. And that's 7149. Are there any questions about what this is for and why we're doing this?
So if you recall, this is for the SCADA equipment that is now controlling the level of our tank. All the way down to the pump down here. It was the only way to properly gauge tank level, due to the proximity of our well that is filling it. The well is all the way down here, tank is at 210 feet of elevation.
Right.
And the only way to truly be able to gauge that is by monitoring the level of the tank and telling the DFD controller what it's at.
Okay,
We're having extreme difficulties trying to determine pressure down here relating to tank level. So it was the only way to fix it.
okay. Do I hear a motion?
If I may, this would have been in the regular reading cycle, but it just got missed, totally honest. It is a water fund only, expense, and I didn't want a small business to have to wait any longer for their payment.
Do I hear a motion?
Yeah, I move to accept for this invoice for Calvert Technical Services. And that is in the amount of $9,900.
Do I hear a second?
Second,
Alright. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. There we go. There's a second one, no, thank you, okay. Discussion and selection of Basin Transit Authority Board applicant. I think we all three got a letter. All three of us don't need to do it. I have other things I do on that night. That makes it so I can't,
what night is it?
it's Tuesday,
Tuesday? At what time?
2:00.
ooh, it's 2 to 4, right?
We're at
Mason Transit,
That's
building in Shelton.
Shelton.
That's on Tuesdays?
Mm-hmm,
Every Tuesday or once a month?
No one's.
Is that the second Tuesday?
I think it was the third, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
I was gonna bring the letter,
Yeah.
and I left it at home.
Well, I did apply,
Oh, wait a minute.
You did?
but I haven't heard anything.
Okay, so you already did apply.
I did apply.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'm not opposed to that.
Okay.
There we go. It just, I think that somebody should be a
Because
part
they
of it.
had to, go through the process anyway, so I wasn't.
Now, is there a fee for it to be on it?
No, I don't believe so. I just figured it would be prudent for the commission to discuss it. in
Okay,
public
yeah, I know,
and decide.
Ken had asked about,
Because all of them could apply.
Right.
They're just only gonna choose, I believe.
One, yeah.
Can't ask about stipends.
If the port's paying the stipend or not.
Well, we used to, but we haven't been charging.
No.
John didn't
we
charge.
passed a resolution stating that only 2 stipends per month would be allowed. Back in 24 when I first took over.
yeah, we get the same amount, no matter we do 10 things or 2 things, it's same.
Alright, so
Alright, so got that. Okay, now, the action request for the SR3 Freight Corridor Mason County BOCC letter. Did you guys get a chance to look over that and understand what that's about?
Yes, I think it looks good.
Yep, I think you did a good job on it. We need that corridor. Anybody that drives through Belfair in the morning, night, it's like a traffic jam. Stop and go traffic, and it's hurting our, businesses and everything else, so. Do I hear,
I, Commissioner Treadway, move to approve the signing of and sending the Port of Allen's letter in support of maintaining SR3 freight corridor schedule.
do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Just a second. Get John Hancock's in here. Not a problem.
A little different than the last one. I think some changes. This one here is your official signature to send off. Okay. You know, then they don't need
The top.
the action required.
We only sign this one.
Here.
Okay, now. The 2026 comprehensive scheme harbor improvement discussion. First off, hang on, I wanted to make
There was
a,
a public comment. That was submitted via email.
oh, okay,
That literally is only about the comprehensive scheme discussion. So just make sure that you note in the records that we received it from Jeff Kerr.
actually, I need to make sure it's, where is it at?
Like the second page.
on the website? No, you received it today, but it can go on the website, thank you, yes.
Oh, it's that one?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'd like to address one of his comments is he wanted to remove the term scheme of harbor scheme because it sounded sneaky. Well, it is a requirement, so we have to keep that word scheme in there.
I wanted to, if you notice, a lot of work went into this by Travis. If you compare the 2022 one to what we have now,
Yes,
really good job. He's done, it's a good start. I know we're not there yet. There's,
If I may, Commissioner, there's a lot in here that has to be vetted and gone through. This was an initial draft from pulling from information sources off the internet. And many of it will change over the next couple of weeks as I go through and compare the court records.
okay.
But some of it has been adjusted. If you'll notice, on the portions of it that have the highlighted, titles, where it's highlighted in history of Washington ports and highlighted for purpose and intent and port history, those portions I have completed. Jurisdiction and governance,
black and white. Hard to
yeah,
see
it's
the highlight.
highlighted in black and white, correct. But there's a lot of things like the city of Allyn map will be removed.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that one because it should be, if you're gonna do that, it should be UGA.
Yeah, I
of
intend
Allen,
to put both
UGA of
UGAs,
Belfair, yeah.
Allyn and Belfair, place of it.
Right.
And maybe even just the port boundaries. You know, a map of the port.
And if I may suggest, commissioners, provide the public another 3 minutes during this particular portion of the special meeting for additional comment.
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
There will also be a public hearing that will be scheduled at a later date for longer comments by the public.
We will be an hour long, correct? Did they,
I will look into the requirements, but it will be until the public comment is over essentially, or within reason.
okay, so yeah, it'll be a lot more. So I guess we can do that now. Anybody have any public comments on this?
Thank you. I'm gonna run over 3 minutes. I apologize, but I looked through this and, calling me, if you will. I think I sent you all a meeting or an email this morning about the comp plan as well.
Which we
So, on page 4 of the thing, it says that the comp plan was last updated in 2022. See where I'm talking? Yeah. It was last updated in 2023. At a special meeting, August 24th, 2023. In that, if I can summarize what happened in that particular meeting. Commissioner Sheridan, Scott, Ed Jackson were there, Larry Capola, Leanne Dennis. There was 2 people from the public, Jeff Carey and myself. The meeting was posted to be here, but it wasn't here. It was in Bremer. So I signed on to the Zoom link and made public comment. And Jeff called in with his public comment. But the scheme of the Harvard discussion, and this is important because I saw in the draft that you have some of the projects are crossed out. But what was discussed at that particular meeting, I highlighted a few of the things. Commissioner Scott suggested removing the sports complex, and that was a good idea. But unfortunately, that had been the community's #1 choice in previous surveys. The consensus was to leave it on the plan, but move it down the list. So that's what they decided to do, is leave it on the list. However, staff was gonna work on a survey, and I know that I responded to that survey, but I've never seen the results of it, and that should be part of this draft. Because that was the last survey that was put together. I know I responded to it, and I'm sure other folks did as well. The discussion turned to EV charging stations. And they were still waiting on an answer from RCO at that time. Commissioner Scott stated she always believed the port should own and operate a commercial or light industrial park, and I think that's pretty much a consensus of everyone. There was a discussion about the shooting range.
2 seconds. Mr. Van Busker, 30 seconds.
Yeah, there's no way I can get through.
And we'll have a hearing where you'll have a lot of time to speak.
Yeah, but this is about the draft.
Understood.
And you're not gonna, once you have the hearing, you're not gonna be willing to change the draft.
That's to say that
Whatever you wanna do.
we'll be plenty of time to.
Okay,
Speak
well
up
then,
here.
let me finish my comment then on one last final point then.
Thank you.
Sweetwater Park and the Salmon Center were discussed. The executive director stated the cost of doing the project had tripled in the time that the port had been working with the Salmon Center. He suggested, and he felt that the project were to be dropped, it wouldn't be the worst thing. I have a lot more to talk about Sweetwater. You are totally out of line with it. And I read in that West Sound magazine article that there's $300,000 that have been raised for that project. Where is that money? If you don't want me to talk anymore, I won't. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right,
Anybody else like 3 minutes time?
Sure. Will Harris, Allen, this provides some observations for a couple of minutes, so, it did not, became aware of this meeting a couple of days ago, thank you, Mr. Merrill. And, my time reviewing the 28-page draft was sitting there during the last public comment, so you understand how much I have understood of this. But what I want to bring forth is time on Planning Advisory Commission, time on TIPCAT for Mason County, and time looking at other plans in this county. And I would make this observation, I would challenge the board to be, to help our community. I hear a lot of plans, I'm dealing with one right now down at Mason County, where the answer is, well, this isn't really an action plan. It's a plan to fill a state requirement. Well, that's really nice, but as a community member, it's planned, so aren't you planning to do it? Maybe not, and it's very confusing. So I would challenge you to, let's make it realistic. Looking at the list of projects, and Mr. Van Busker covered a couple of them. But I would lay it out as, what do we really need, if you will? What is within our real funding authority? Not grants, but things that we're gonna take on, either via, a tax revenue that comes in or potential loans, however you want to do it, but not grants and others. And then things that are desired but fully funded on grants, segregate those two so we as a public understand what is within the control of the port to actually handle and what is outside of our control. As we look at the state budget, let's just say, I think we're gonna be real challenged for the next couple of years. We're seeing that right now, and I think our local community members may be too. I also would ask, what do we really need? An EV charging station sounds good. Do we really need it, or would it be better to spend and finish up some of the other projects or activities for the community? So with that, just to really try and focus, one last, put dollar values on your projects. Estimate them out. If you think it's $1 million, so maybe it's 750 to 1.5 million, 2026 dollars. So we gauge it against a year and a range when we think it's about $1 million. That would really help the public understand where we're headed as a port. Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
And I'll try and read more next time.
Anybody else have any comments? Anybody online have a comment about the comprehensive scheme? In particular? All right,
I wanna say thank you to Will, because that's why some of these I think were crossed out, kind of pie in the sky stuff that I think was beyond our capabilities. So again, I think that's why, at least some of my input was to cross some of those out and probably not necessarily prioritize in order, because opportunities come and go. But, and having the dollar amount, great idea.
Well, and prioritizing, you could prioritize it within your potential funding scheme, readdressed on an annual basis or whatever the board wants to do. You could also put things in grants. I've seen other funding approaches where you lump it in. These are in a past life, it worked really well to have a group of $1 to $3 million projects, a group of 5 to 10, and a group of 20 and over $1 million projects. This group was a real short list, but it gave us the ability to work with, in this case, maybe our legislators, and I'm a little different scenario, but nonetheless, if they said, well, can't handle 20 mil, but about 3 mil is viable. Now you are instantly have a short list that's somewhat prioritized, and it would help communicate to the community what you're thinking of doing.
Yeah, appreciate that.
I know when I went through this list, I was like, some of the stuff is like the skate park, sounds good. But as a port, we're not in skateboard, we're not into park. But we need to, the public has made it clear. In public past comments that we need to not be adding more and more parks, we need to be doing more economic development stuff. And so there's no point in doing the baseball field, soccer field. you know, I'd go with the football field, cause I like football. You know, the whole thing for Pee-wees, cause I used, both of us used to do stuff for the Pee-wees, but that's not practical at this time. Just isn't. I wish it was, but you know, if I had my say, we'd be able to do it. The restaurant North Shore, my understanding is no one has ever been able to do a successful restaurant type business there. So why, yeah, why would we be setting ourselves up for failure? You know, maybe a bait shop or something right across the street, you know, with a snack bar or something during the season to make money to sell to people watching their boats. I might be interested in something like that, but restaurants not, you know.
If I might add, Commissioner Burton,
Yes,
I only crossed these out on this list from information I heard over the last year. And they were only suggestions to the commission on things that probably shouldn't be on the next comprehensive plan.
well,
And
And-
so if you agree with that, I will keep them crossed off and not work towards putting time and energy into discussing them.
how about the rest of you guys? What do you think?
Yeah, we definitely need to prioritize what we, do and do not need on this list, but we also. It's not just about the commission's wants and needs, it definitely matters what the community is gonna say, it's
Well-
their wants and needs.
That's true, but it's also what we can afford to do and
Agreed.
actually do. I
And
totally agree with that.
Just an FYI too, you do have to have these projects in your harbor, scheme of harbor improvements, so that if you go for grants, it has to be in your comprehensive plan.
right,
So you kind of want to think sometimes outside the box, but I
Sure.
think we have enough here. I'd like to see,
Yeah.
what we have on our plate to get done. That's the first priority.
I was talking to somebody and they told me, actually, they gave me their card. And they're part of, there's an indoor shooting range, I guess, in Shelton.
Yeah,
Mason County Sportsman Association.
Right.
It's out by the industrial park here, the airfield.
So in my humble opinion. I mean, I even enjoy shooting, so, but if we already have one in the area, why do we need to compete with another local business in Mason County?
just so you know, there was interest in having something up here. Cause as you know, Shelton and Belfair are very different, so. That's why, one of the reasons why it was on there. Cause there was people who were wanting something that was up here, other than that, going into Kitsap County.
Right. Yeah, just one kid's that kind of, it's not indoors, but one night home. But. I mean,
Travis, do we have somewhere where the. Public comment on what they prioritized in the past, what they wanted?
I'd have to look at the previous meetings, but
Okay.
yeah.
When do we have to have this draft done?
There was a survey conducted in 2023.
Okay, is that the one that you're talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
should be on
understand.
the record.
Okay,
They prioritized the surveyed people and asked them what they can.
sure, I definitely wanna look at that.
yeah, I'd like to,
Do we have a deadline when we have to have this draft? Like, I know you've been spending a lot of time and.
Oh, well, yeah,
Energy on it.
we need to put an ad in the paper for 2 weeks consecutive.
Okay.
And let everybody know that we have a public hearing, have a public hearing. As long as you're not making substantial changes.
Sure,
to
sure.
it, you don't have to approve it immediately. Still,
We would approve that,
tool with it and work with some of the public comment to make changes to it before you approve it.
okay, when does it need to be approved? There's a
Needs to be
deadline,
approved
right?
Before April 4th, so, we do have a regular meeting on the 9th, and then the opportunity for another special meeting before then where, people could take place.
okay,
Okay, can you look for that survey and see?
Yeah.
Between now and their next meeting, and,
I will see what we come up with.
I mean,
yeah, I wouldn't mind just doing a little bit more reading myself, and so at least table it till the next meeting.
Wait, we're
not- Okay.
Yeah, there's no.
this is just a
We have to have
discussion,
it,
so.
basically, put it in the paper for 2 weeks.
Sure.
give Public notice, and then have a hearing where it's a scheduled hearing, everybody knows about it, and then after that, approvals can be made or additional changes can.
understand.
Again, page. Is it 9 with the maps? We need to fix that too, just so that,
Yeah.
I think that was mentioned, but just to make sure that's noted.
Yeah, he hasn't gone through all of
You guys wanna do it page by page for anything, or you wanna just, spot check on things that are perfect?
I don't think it's gonna be beneficial, everybody's time to go page by page right now, I think we should all individually go over it in our time. And bring it back to the next meeting, we can discuss it with the public then, and at which point I believe we'll have. Help from the previous public comments and public comment at that meeting.
That next meeting be the public hearing?
No, no, sir. Yeah, the next
Most,
one,
most likely, no, it'll actually be a special meeting,
Yeah,
probably end of, March.
Okay, just so you know, page 18 needs a lot of work. Starting Sweetwater, and I'm happy to send you my comment. Right off the bat, I can show you one in late. You wanna look at it,
I'm on page 18. What do you got?
look down at building inventory. Grain elevators and old
Yeah,
packing
like,
houses.
like
Oh,
I
yeah.
said, this was,
That's-
Yeah.
that's not right.
Yeah.
We know that.
But
And like
there's a
I,
bunch more.
and like I said, this was pulled from the internet, to create content for us to go over and confirm with the board records.
I have no further comment on it at this time.
Yeah, just, we'll need to have more ready to go by the next meeting, so by the time we do our public meeting, we know what we're walking into. And the public will know as well, what exactly we're speaking. Is there anything else you guys want not on the list, that you don't want him to just think shouldn't be on the list, that we can, or you
Not
wanna leave
yet.
it wide open at this
I'll
time?
look more, I didn't have a,
Well, if the commission could, we need just a little bit more direction on the page of crossed out items. Is there any of those not crossed out on page 4? Yeah, would you prefer not to see incorporated at this time? Or any of them that are crossed out you'd like to have on?
well, one of the items about the. Charging stations, I questioned that as well, but there are grants out there, so not just for the sake of getting the grant, but
Sure.
it can be. You can make some money a little bit off of them. That's the only why I thought we'd keep them on there.
I would agree that that's low level for myself.
Yeah.
Anything to do with keeping kids involved in sports, I'm obviously pro, but I also understand that comes with. A lot of bills, insurance is gonna go up, stuff like that as well,
And just for an attempt to try to consolidate down to, for the office, it only has so much time to pursue angles. That is another angle that, I don't see having much time between, Pier and Oyster House and park projects and the water system. The water system is encompassing much of my time, so, to be frankly honest, at this time, you have me working towards the projects we have money already acquired for.
Right.
To go and try to acquire new monies at this time, it's taking me away from finishing the projects we already have money for.
Well, this is good for how many years?
Usually it's common practice to renew it once a year. We had a plethora of things that needed to be done during our budget time. And it was not something that I could find the time to do without working 80 hours a week.
So it wasn't done the last couple of years.
But the intent would be to, when we do our budget, to reapprove our scheme of comprehensive improvements. And now that we have a draft that is easier to make changes to, rather than the previous one, it should be less time consuming to do so.
Okay.
for items not crossed out, I think every one of them is important, especially completing some of these like the Oyster House. Minus the EV, I personally just don't. I don't drive electric cars either, so if it's beneficial to the port, to the people, all about it, I just don't see it compared to what we have on Cross.
Yes, I have a different viewpoint, but then again, I also own an EV. So I'm biased on that, but I do see the fact that if we did have like an EV out here, people would come in to the port to charge. And it would bring more people into the port for that purpose.
Well, yeah, tourism too, you know,
And tourism.
somebody would use a restaurant, but
Because I can
that's
tell,
another reason too.
yeah, I can tell you when I'm using my EV, if I'm going somewhere, I'm like, wonder if they have a charger, you know, it's one of the things I wanna check, do they have a charger? And there's not a lot of them, you know, you can go into Belfair, there's a couple in Belfair, but
So I might suggest that the ones that are crossed out, just to keep to have them off. The ones that are not crossed out, maybe keep on and not to add more burden, because you don't have to right now. I do like the suggestion that Will made about possible costs, you know, that could be investigated and put proposed funding needs for it. And maybe have it that term, you know, because it's like a moving target for what prices are, but at least that.
I do fear without taking like real bids in, that if,
Mhm.
we'd have to definitely put out to the public, it's a very rough estimate, right? Because
Yeah.
without taking, actually opening the bids up here and getting real numbers, it's.
Yeah,
We're throwing.
Right, but standard industry practice is the idea you go from an order of magnitude estimate to a preliminary to a definitive, and in each state, this is, I wanna build a 2,500 square foot house. Well, it's really, 24, not 2,500, and I added a deck and a hot tub, and by here you have design drawings. So by the time you're down to here, you pick finishes, so you can start to dial it in, and there's a lot more here. Back at this order of magnitude ROM level, it's more unit costs, and, there are likely EV stations throughout the state where we could potentially find, hey, here's a location with public funds that put in 3 EV stations or 2, not 20, but a limited amount, and I'm making guesses on what the scope is here. But something like that, and just a single line that says EV stations, the installation of 3 or 4 EV stations at the Port of Allyn up there. So there's a definition of how much, where it's gonna go, because if someone says down here, well, that may be a whole different electrical construct getting the power there.
Sure.
So just those very simple, again, that helps protect your estimate, because someone says, well, you estimated 2 million and now it's 3. Well, yes, but we moved it down here and added 1. So you provide some
constraints kind of.
yeah, some constraints, and you sort of, if you will, protect's the wrong word, but you qualify what you're doing. So when someone comes in and modifies your project, particularly upscopes it, you can also upscope the budget with it, because they go hand in hand.
Understand, thank you.
now I have a question about the creating veterans and or first responders memorial. That's something we could probably, to do that, we could get with veterans organizations and first responders, fire department, and have them help with that. Well, we're not putting out a lot of money, a lot of port money for that, I would hope. So that's because I know right now, we don't even have the money for that, so, I mean, it's just, it is what it is.
My recommendation to the commission will always be that any new projects on the agenda are projects that bring income.
Agreed.
Yeah, and that doesn't bring any income, and I'm a veteran and support,
And it's
Yeah, all
a
that.
project that has not had any movement to date. It hasn't had any progress on it. So,
Gonna be starting from scratch.
yes, we get started.
okay.
Yeah, I have no other comments on anything on this, on page 4. I think what you have uncrossed is fairly good. I'd be willing to listen to the discussion on the veterans memorial.
All right, is there anything?
You have anything else you really need us to look at in this?
No, and like I said, there's a lot of fact checking and going through and verifying certain things. This was put together from internet sources, to fill in the gaps and create language for us to move and check. And double check.
Understand.
Except for the majority of the highlighted portions have been near completion. History of Washington ports. The purpose and intent section, 1.3, 1.4, port of history, the gracious contribution from G. Scott. There's also the jurisdiction and governance section that I went through for the most part, and then we have our port map with our commissioner's name at the time of the proposed time of the steam harbor improvements being passed. Mason County history section, I haven't completely finished. But then
Okay.
you go over to the actual, where we start to name the projects. I have not done more than a little bit on a few of them, so none of those are what I would say is verified.
You'll have that all ready for us by our next meeting?
You know, I'm very visual.
I know you only got so many hours, you only got 24 hours in a day, you know, but you know.
Yeah, only thing,
Our next meeting, what day?
March 9th. A regular meeting at 4 p.m.
Right, is there anything else? All right. We're adjourned.